Did you see my video on the City of Montreal and Liberal Mayor Denis Coderre wasting $24 million on a Formula E electric vehicle race? Well, aside from the egregious waste of taxpayer dollars, the Liberal virtue signaling comes with some large-scope questions like, why does government subsidize the purchase of these electric vehicles, and do they really help cut emissions? Now, for a long time, my answer to the latter question was, well, yes, I guess they can cut emissions, but only if the source of electricity charging them comes from an emission-free source like hydropower. But now we have a brand new report from the Montreal Economic Institute that casts doubts on all the claims by environmentalists and governments surrounding electric vehicles, and in particular, the government subsidies and rebates that come along when you buy one. Plain and simple, the study concluded that, quote, subsidizing the purchase of such vehicles is the least efficient and most expensive way of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The most expensive way, just listen to that. And the report co-author Germaine Belzile goes on to explain, quote, not only do these programs cost taxpayers a fortune, but they also have little effect on greenhouse gas emissions. Subsidizing the purchase of electric vehicles represents without a doubt the worst option among current solutions, unquote. So what the heck are we doing here? And how much are we giving away to these EV owners, essentially for no benefit exactly? While the study only concentrated on Ontario and Quebec, almost all provinces have some form of rebate when you purchase an EV. Ontario comes in at the highest with up to $14,000 in subsidies. Quebec gets $8,000, and over here in BC, we give up to $12,000 away. The study goes on to explain how even if Quebec and Ontario put 1 million electric vehicles on the road each, up from only several thousand now, that greenhouse gas emissions would only drop 3.6% and 2.4% respectively. And with thousands of dollars of subsidy in each car sold, that would mean billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money handed out for marginal reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. Look, I'm sure I don't need to tell many of you that the reason these EV subsidies are so frustrating is the most popular electric vehicles right now are very expensive high-end cars like Teslas or BMW's i8. At prices that touch six figures, these cars are really reserved for the rich and affluent, the 1% if you prefer. These are not folks who need any financial assistance buying an electric vehicle, and while sure, they may also want to virtue signal to their friends about helping the environment, I would guess that 99% of the time these Tesla owners have a carbon footprint many, many times greater than your average Canadian. But what's so shocking about these subsidies for the rich and affluent is they come from governments and political parties that are supposed to be supporting the middle class at the expense of raising taxes on the wealthy. So when Liberal premiers like Kathleen Wynne and Philippe Couillard give away millions of dollars in EV subsidies to the wealthiest of our citizens, where is the outcry? And now that there's evidence that these subsidies don't reduce emissions, do you think we'll see a change in policy? Of course not. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. You know, green schemes are a dime a dozen, it seems, these days, so make sure you keep it locked to the Rebel. We'll bust them up and show you the truth.